Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Nezzy. If you are new here, please think about subscribing to my channel. If you're thinking about moving to Florida or live in Florida, here are some pros and cons. So a little backstory, my husband and I were born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. So in New York, we have the 4 seasons. Fall is one of my favorites. Diesel's favorite is summer, of course. And when we got married, we were living in Jersey. We lived in Jersey for about good, maybe 10-15 years. So Diesel worked as a journeyman. He used to fix the street lightings in New York for many years. And he hated the winters. He hates the snow. And Diesel has underlying conditions, so the cold, brutal winters in New York/New Jersey would affect him. So when he finally retired, well, before he retired, he says, when I retired, we're going to Florida. So okay, he retired. He came to Florida. He came before me because I was still looking for work. And soon when I landed a job here in Florida, I moved to Florida. So we've been here for about 6 years. I was doing the back and forth thing. And yeah, so we've been here for about 6 years. We live in the Tampa area. There's a lot of pros and cons living in Florida, but to me, the pros outweigh the cons. And yeah, my family moved right after we did. Well, after I came, my family moved a year after I was here. A year or 2 years afterwards. Anyway, yeah, my family's here and my uncle's here. I have friends who live out here. So yeah, we wouldn't change it for the world. We really like living out here. It's a beautiful state. Again, there's pros and cons. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. Also, one of my subscribers requested that I make this video because she and her husband are thinking about moving to Florida within 5 to 6 years. So this video is for you. Let's start off with the pros. And I hope my camera does not overheat because, yeah, the last video I did when I was in my car, the camera overheated. So anyway, let me try to talk quick. So the first pro is that we have sunny winters here. They call it the Sunshine State here for good reason. We have beautiful weather here in Florida. Of course, like any other state, we have our rain and stuff like that and hurricanes. But for the most part, the weather is absolutely gorgeous. The second pro would be the beaches here in Florida. We have the most amazing, beautiful beaches. Now, I must tell you that Diesel and I are not beachgoers. But if we went to the beach because of a gathering or because we have out-of-town guests and, they want to go to the beach or see the beaches, or I have a girls' weekend and my friends love the beach and my family loves the beach, I'll go to the beach. But Diesel and I do not like the beach because of the sand. We don't like the sand, and I don't like getting into the ocean like I used to back in the days. It's just changed. I don't know. There's so much shark invasions now, and I'm not trying to make this pro into a con, but we do have beautiful beaches, especially again if you are a beach goer. The closest beach to us, because we are in the Tampa area, is I think Clearwater, so it's about 40 minutes from here. But there are so many beaches in Sarasota, Clearwater, St. Pete. We are 4 hours away from Miami. Diesel and I sometimes drive to Miami. My niece goes there a lot. So there's a lot of beautiful beaches here in Florida. I can't name them all. I can't think of them all right now because I'm recording. But if you Google beaches in Florida, you'll see a whole list of beaches in Florida. Beautiful beaches. The third pro living in Florida, or if you're thinking about moving to Florida, is that there are so many fun things to do here. Fun things to do and see here in Florida. We have the amusement parks, Disney, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Universal. We have so many theme parks. And again, we have a lot of beautiful beaches. We have a lot of shopping areas, beautiful shopping malls. We have a lot of natural attractions that offer outdoor activities. Restaurants, I'm trying to think while I talk, but Florida has a lot of diversity, and so there are a lot of diverse restaurants, Latin, Indian, Chinese, soul food, Greek. So there are tons of restaurants all over the different cities in Florida, so you have a choice. There really is a lot of things to do and see here in Florida. That's why I think Florida is one of the most areas people like to come to. A lot of tourists come here because, again, there is a lot of nice things to do and see in Florida. Another pro here in Florida is that the cost of living is somewhat reasonable, much less than New York and New Jersey. So yeah, like the housing is less. If you're buying a house, is much less than New York or New Jersey. I'm just speaking on my experience because I come from New York/New Jersey. I'm not sure where everyone else lives, so that's why I'm speaking about New York and New Jersey. So the cost of housing and the cost of houses is more expensive up north than it is here, so that is a pro. Is it raining? Yeah, it's raining. That is a pro if you're thinking about moving to Florida. If you live in a state where the cost of living is higher, it's a little more cheaper here in Florida. Another pro, I believe, moving to Florida, or if you're thinking about moving to Florida, is remote working is flexible. So if you go on Indeed.com and search for jobs in Florida, specifically remote jobs, you'll see that there's a lot of remote jobs here in Florida. And where I work at right now, it's very flexible. Where my sister works, she got transferred, but even here in Florida, it's flexible for her to work remotely. So you have a choice to work remotely. I mean, of course, we have to go into the office, but we have more flexibility. For example, I work from home Monday and Thursdays, and I go into the office Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If I want to work from home Tuesdays and Wednesdays and come in a different day of the week, they allow me to do that. Or if I want to take an extra day to work from home because, you know, for whatever reason, they allow me to do that. It's just flexible. And the same for my sister. So I think, and a lot of people that I know that live out here, the same for them. Unless you have a job that you have to be hands-on, that you have to be in the office, then that's a different story. But if it's like an office job, admin job, or something you can do remotely, it's really flexible here in Florida. Another pro living here in Florida is that it's so peaceful. It's so quiet. Again, I'm from New York, so I'm used to the loud honking, the kids playing outside, or people talking outside and it's so loud, or commotions outside, people arguing outside. Here, you don't hear none of that. I'm not saying that people don't argue, or kids don't play outside, but like here, it's more peaceful. Like there's a certain time where everybody's in the house already, and you don't hear people in the street. Like in New York, it's the city that never sleeps. You're always going to hear honking. You're always going to hear a commotion outside. Here, you don't hear none of that. It's so peaceful. I love it. We love it. You know, so for example, my uncle came to stay at our house. My uncle moved out here, but before he bought his house, he stayed with us for like 3 days. And when he woke up the first morning, he said, "This has been the most peaceful sleep I ever had in my life." I'm telling you, it's so peaceful, so quiet. All you hear is like little crickets. Beautiful. And even like at nighttime, if it thunderstorms, it's relaxing, it's soothing. Even hearing the rainfall on the window pane, it's relaxing. I love it. I love it. Another pro living here in Florida is that we don't pay no state income tax. We don't pay no state income tax, which is a financial benefit living in Florida. We pay no state income tax. I was so happy when I found that out. I mean, I think I knew about it, but when I started getting paid here in Florida and I saw my check a little higher than usual, even though I did get a cut, but even though you make a little less here than you do in New York, unless you get a transfer, but still, I was like, okay, this is nice. Only federal comes out, that's it, and whatever else you have coming out of your pay, like Social Security or your medical benefits or whatever. But as far as state and federal, they only take out federal. That's it. It's really pouring out here. So it really allows you to save more money on your earnings when, you know, they're only taking out federal in that state. So that's like, to me, that's like the #1 pro living here in Florida. Ow. You hear that? So those are my pros living here in Florida. I'm sure there's more, but those are the only ones I could think of right now. Let's talk about the cons if you're thinking about moving to Florida. So the first con will be the brutal summers. Even though the weather here is beautiful, we do have brutal summers here in Florida. Because of the humidity, the climate here in Florida is like, it gets so hot, especially during the summer months, July and August. Oh, it gets so hot. If you watch my vlogs, you will notice that I constantly say, oh my God, it's so hot. It's so hot today. It's so hot today. Yeah, because we have brutal summers here in Florida. The brutal summers will be ideal for beachgoers. So if you're a beachgoer, then that wouldn't be a con for you. That will be a pro. But for me, it's a con. Another con living here in Florida are the hurricanes. The hurricanes and the tornado warnings, but mostly the hurricanes, because we get tornado warnings and nothing really happens, thank God. But it could disrupt your life. It could ruin your property. You know, it can make your insurance go up. And yeah, so hurricanes is a con here in Florida. Hurricane seasons here in Florida run between the months of June and November. So like every day it rains at the same time. Like right now, what time is it? It's 2:15, so it usually rains. So it usually rains between 3 and 5 every night or every day during hurricane season. Because I know when I leave work and I'm coming home, it's raining. or it just finished raining, and it rains a lot. But I mean, we have such beautiful palm trees and a lot of greenery here, so, and we need it because it's so hot. So I don't mind the rain. I'd rather the rain than the snow, even though I like the snow in New York. But I rather the rain than the snow. If Diesel hears me saying this, he's gonna watch this. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I can't stand the snow." He really can. But thankfully, we live in an area where we don't get flooding. We really don't get any flooding. I don't know, for some reason, I think where we live at is higher ground or higher land. So I've been through about 4 hurricanes here in Florida where we live at, and thankfully nothing has happened to our property or our cars, our vehicles, nothing, thankfully. So if you're thinking about moving to Florida, do your research on... Oh, I'm sorry, my camera overheated, guys. So I don't know where I left off. I don't know if it's going to shut off again, but I have the air blowing on it. I don't know if it's internal or if it was because it was sitting on my dashboard. It's not sunny, it's raining, so I don't know. But hopefully you guys won't shut off again. But I believe the last thing I was saying, if you are thinking about moving to Florida, do your research on where you want to move, see if there's a flood zone area and so forth. So another con, if you're thinking about moving here to Florida, is that the cost of living has leaped in the last couple of years, and I think that was due to COVID. So a lot of the market, buying a home, is more expensive than it was a couple of years ago. The food, when I go grocery shopping, the prices have gone up. The gas fluctuates, but yeah, the cost of living has leaped here in Florida. So that's kind of a con, you know. It's I mean, I still think it's a less cheaper than it is in New York, but yeah, the prices went up in a lot of things, especially like when I go for a manicure and pedicure. Man, I tell you, a manicure and pedicure, just a regular manicure and pedicure is like $45-50. That's ridiculous. That's not including gel or acrylic, none of that. Just a regular mani and pedi. So yeah, that's a con. Another con would be you definitely need a car. Florida is a car dependent state. There is no public transportation. Well, no, I'm lying. There is public transportation. There are buses. But even to get to the bus stop, you need a car. You need a car here in Florida. Unless you are moving to Miami, because Miami is like a city. It's like New York City. There are walkable places you can go to. But if you live in the areas like where I live at, you need a car. You definitely need a car if you're going to move to Florida. The weather is so hot. You're not going to want to walk. You're going to want to get into your air-conditioned car and go to where you need to go, because yeah. So bottom line, you need a car, girl, if you want to move to Florida. Another con living in Florida is that the insurance cost is pretty high. That is because of natural disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, the rain, property damage. So the insurance is is up there. Unfortunately, that's what we have to deal with here in Florida. Also, car insurance. Now, y'all know, if you watch my vlogs and if I'm driving, you know that I'm always saying, oh, here's another accident. There's another accident. You see an accident almost every day. Almost every day. Sometimes they're not that serious. Sometimes it's just like a little fender bender because they like to tailgate here. So, yeah. So the car insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance is up. And not for nothing, but Florida I read somewhere that Florida is the #1 state for car accidents. That's why the cost of insurance is high here in Florida. So that's something to think about too. Another con living in Florida is that is tourist congested, especially if you want to move to Orlando, Kissimmee area. Now, you know that's where all the theme parks are at. So every time Diesel and I go to Orlando, because we like to go to White Castle, or we like to go to the shopping area, or we like to stay for the weekend, the I-4, which is the main interstate to go to Orlando, is always packed. Always packed. If you are a theme park lover, then Orlando's the place for you. But if you can deal with that traffic congestion of all those people, and I can't. I mean, I like going to Orlando. We still go to Orlando, but as far as those theme parks, no. Every time my nephews or my sister goes, you want to go to Disney or you want to go to Universal? No, thank you. Nope. It's not for me. It's not for me. It's just too much. Even during the off season where kids are back in school, or it's like the winter months here in Florida, which is like nice cool weather, those parks are still crowded. because we went to SeaWorld during an off season. SeaWorld, it wasn't even Disney World, and it was packed. I can't deal with that. Some people are rude, you know, some people, you know, they push and stuff like I just can't deal with large crowds. I just can't deal with large crowds and standing online and stuff like that to see a show, a dolphin show, or to get some food. You have to stand on a long line, and sometimes if it's hot, because we went to Disney with my cousin and her 2 kids. I didn't get on, man, I don't even want to start that, but yeah, it was just too much. It was too crowded. It was so hot. We went in April, I think it was. Yes, we went in April, and it was so hot. It was like 90-something degrees. Those poor babies were sweating. They were red. Yeah, that's not for me. But if it's for you, then yeah, it could be a pro for you. The last con I'm going to speak about is wildlife encounters. You heard me, wildlife encounters. So here in Florida, we have a lot of crocodiles, alligators. We have a lot of wildlife, wild boars. I seen a bobcat, coyotes. I heard coyotes. No, actually, I saw a coyote one time because my Ring camera, when we first moved to the house, we heard the Ring camera, and we looked at the Ring camera in the back where the lanai is at, and it was a coyote. Yes, a coyote. We have the love bugs. The love bugs, they only come out, I think, twice a year. They're not harmful at all, but they're annoying because there's so many of them and they fly everywhere. We have those big roaches with the cicadas or the water bugs. We have the geckos. The geckos are harmless. They really are harmless, but they're annoying sometimes because you see them everywhere and they're moving all over the place, so you try not to step on them, so they could be a little annoying. But I'd rather that than a roach or a possum. We see possum, we see turtles. Turtles are so adorable, but I feel so bad when I see the turtles on the road smashed because somebody is so careless or heartless and they run over them, or maybe it was an accident. We seen deers. Yeah, a lot of wildlife. A lot of wildlife. Bugs, snakes. I just saw a snake this morning. My sister and I went for a morning walk, and I'll include the clip here. I videotaped it. A black snake. The black snakes are harmless, but still, a snake is a snake. I don't care if you're harmless or not. I don't like snakes. No sir, no ma'am. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of that here in Florida, especially at nighttime. Yeah, at nighttime the alligators tend to cross from pond to pond, so you don't really see. Well, I'm not gonna say you really don't see them, because we do see them, because there are 2 big alligators behind my sister's house. Now she has a big pond, and then on the other side of the pond, away from the house, of course, is where we see the 2 alligators. Now they'll come out, they'll take some sun, and then they'll go back in the water. They don't bother you if you don't bother them. Don't feed them, don't go near them, don't taunt them. They won't bother you. But if you go near them, yeah. So yeah, wildlife encounters. If you don't like wildlife, Florida's not for you. It's not. So those are my takes on the pros and cons if you're thinking about moving to Florida. I hope if you are thinking about moving to Florida, the pros outweigh the cons for you guys. So yeah, I love it. Speaking for myself and Diesel, we both love living here in Florida. My sister's here, my parents are here, my uncle's here. I have a lot of friends who live here. Everyone loves it. So hopefully if you decide to move to Florida, you will love it too. Just do your research, look online, maybe come visit for a week or so, look at different areas of Florida. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think. If you're planning on moving here, if you live out here, put it on the comments down below. This was a great topic, so thank you to my subscriber who suggested this. Again, if you are new to my channel, please think about subscribing to my channel, liking and commenting on this video. I'll see you guys in the next video or vlog. Until then, stay safe. God bless. Adios.
My people be rolling, dreaming on you and your homies. The very first day of summer.